Hello all, I'm Laura. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I just want to talk to you about tips for learning Spanish, what you can do to succeed, and what worked for me in order to learn English. Everyone can learn a new language. We just have to be passionate about it and be constant. Let me tell you a bit about my own experience. For years, I studied English in a private academy after school. And I did like it at first, but after some time, I got bored. And I started skipping those classes without my parents knowing. Eventually, they found out and they weren't very happy. The academy I went to was very good. Sometimes I had Spanish teachers teaching English, and others I had English teachers. And I didn't like that at all, as I couldn't understand a great deal. And that was a very big mistake on my behalf. But I was young and I wasn't interested in sitting down and paying attention to somebody else doing their job. Things started to take a turn when I became super interested in music. I loved a few bands and I started taking an interest in their music and their lyrics. So after school, and sometimes in school too, my main interest was to listen to those songs and write down what I thought they said. I liked their songs so much that for me trying to guess what I was listening to was pure joy. It didn't feel like a task or homework. It was my favorite thing to do. And then afterwards, I would check what I had written against the booklet of the CD to see how well or how bad I had done. So it was almost like a game to me. It became addictive. Now, this might not be everyone's cup of tea, but it worked for me. My passion for these bands made me want to listen to their music over and over again. Every day I wrote down what I thought the lyrics said, and this made me learn so much more than I could have ever thought. So in the space of a few weeks, I learned so much vocabulary. And my understanding on how to construct sentences in English was much clearer than what anyone could have taught me in 2 years. But why? Because I was doing what I enjoyed. I was learning a language on my own terms, out of my own interest. Listening to music worked for me. For you, might be something different. It could be your favorite series in another language. It could be a podcast. It could be just wanting to understand your favorite film in its original language. Or it could be that you just met someone and you want to be able to communicate with this person. It could be anything that makes you want to learn a different language. So my advice is, make it enjoyable, make it visual, read. Try reading Spanish as much as you can, even if you don't know what you're saying. Just read. We can all learn a language, but we need to enjoy the process, otherwise we will get bored. So you must find a learning method that you like. Of this way, you'll be hooked and amused. When I was learning, at first, I used to get bored in class, but as soon as I found what motivated me, my learning totally changed. So only you know what you are going to like reading. Only you know what you are going to like to listen to. And only you know what you like watching. So take advantage of that. Use it for your own benefit and use it as your learning tool. Making things visual is also a good tip. Use colored pens, use certain colors for certain things, use cards, colored paper, anything that you think that is going to help you. I remember sometimes I'd even change my writing to learn different things. So that visual method would help me to remember better, as it would stand out from the rest of my regular writing. So whatever you prefer that makes it attractive and interesting to you, goes. It's also good to be organized and to have a plan. So choose what time of the day you are going to be able to do it. Because there's really no point choosing a time of the day where you know that you're going to be tired. You can listen to a Spanish podcast on the train on the way to work or in the car, or maybe just sitting down in your kitchen just reading a book in Spanish. I mean, your choice. You can also meet people that speak Spanish, befriend them, learn their culture, learn about their food, immerse yourself completely into the language and their lifestyle. Patience is also very important. It's going to take some time for you to be able to be fluent. This is not going to happen in a month or two. However, you can make a big difference in a month or two if you are constant and do it every day. Don't be afraid of making mistakes, because this is how one learns. Also, imitate sounds. I always say this one to my students: copy what you hear. This is still one for me to practice when I speak English, as my Spanish accent is still quite prominent. But again, the main thing is to enjoy what you're doing. Otherwise, most likely, you'll end up losing interest. So make it fun and interesting. Use tools such as the things I mentioned earlier, like color pens, colored paper, etc. Use things that you think you'll find useful and that will keep you engaged. Make it fun, interesting, and engaging so that you want to do it every single day, and that's key. My motivation to learn English was listening to my favorite bands and writing down what I thought I could hear, and then after that, translating it into Spanish. Now, that was quite a few years ago, but nowadays you can listen to Spanish podcasts. You can watch your favorite series in the desired language that you want to learn. What I'm trying to say here is that nowadays there are a lot more accessible methods to learn a language that don't involve having to sit in a classroom. As for some people, this is just boring. However, others might prefer. But whatever you do, make it yours. This is your learning. You get to decide how and when. Be patient and constant, and you'll get there. So this is my advice for you today and my own experience learning a different language. I hope you find some of these tips useful. Let me know what your method is in the comments and I'll have a read through. Muchas gracias y hasta luego. Adiós.